Hello, everybody. I'm very glad that so many people are interested at these late hours in this topic, and it's so lovely to see so many faces here. First of all, I would like to tell you that some colleagues of mine just decided to make some silly faces during my presentation, so if I would start to laugh, then it's not my fault, it's their fault at all. Yeah. Today's presentation title is Ethical Testing. My name is Imola MESZAR, and I work as a test team manager at ZEISS, and I'm also an instructor at the Master Field Training Center. And this presentation was inspired by a quite tough period last year, what happened with me, us, our colleagues, the entire structure, because it happened that we had to have a lot of interviews and had to interview a lot of people. And if you think about your CV, probably majority of you have some CVs, then if you think that the main part, the body, the most expanded part is about technical skills. At which companies have you worked? What programming languages you know? What kind of testing you were part of? And there is a very, very small section, usually at the end of the CV or at the corner or at the side, about your soft skills. That you are a very great team player, that you are a very great communicator, all of us are. And also that you love your work, your job, some buzzwords. And I would like to talk a little bit about those buzzwords today, because before this tough period, I have never thought that those soft skills are very important and so important. So, and this presentation will have the perfect structure. So I hope that my literature teacher would be very proud of me, because I structured it in a very, very perfect way, that the introduction part, the 0-1, what is ethical testing, the definition and everything, what we all skip. The second one, the principles, what we take care of, I will bring you 5 buzzwords, which the majority of you probably have in your CVs. And the third one, the conclusion that, okay, but technical skills or soft skills or what to do. What I have in my presentation and what I hate usually in presentations, if the speaker asks questions, because obviously, I cannot communicate with you in a way that it would be effective, because you are listening, I'm speaking. But despite of this fact, my presentation will be full of questions. But please do not take those questions that the urge to answer it loudly. If you wish, obviously you can. But I would like to raise and provoke some thoughts in your head, because probably you can answer those questions, but if you think a little bit more about, then you will see that the answer is not so clear. So what is ethical testing? I Googled it, and a lot of interesting stuff came up. And what I would like to bring in front is that if we are testing correctly with all of those soft skills without any tech skills, so no C++, no C#, no Java, no Selenium, no Playwright, no some kind of buzzwords like that. What means is that the software have to be safe, secure, and to respect the user's light and privacy. Has nothing to do with any kind of tech skills. So for example, there will be some case studies here. Here is the one. Here is the first. Imagine that you are a tester at a finance mobile application. Probably many of you use mobile applications, your bank or whatever you might. And you have access to the detailed data of the users and how the app works. What kind of ethical questions will be arisen? Can you profit from those data? Obviously not. We all know the answer, not. But the devil never sleeps, and there might be one person from 1,000 who might profit from those. This is not ethical. And there will be some thought-provoking questions. If testing is about test skills, obviously it is about test skills, but only test skills. And if soft skills can be learned, we all know that learn JavaScript in 24 hours, you know that, right? Learn C++ in half an hour, be a senior developer in 1 hour, stuff like that are very common on the internet. But how about the soft skills? Can somebody be a great communicator from one day to another? Because that's quite impossible. And about time, how much time do we need to learn a C++ framework, for example? And how much time do we need to be a great communicator? So there might be a quite big difference. And we already arrived to the second part of the body, to the entire presentation. 5 buzzwords will be here with some case studies. Here is the first one. We love this word, right? Transparency. That's what we expect from each other. That's how we work. That's how we are. We all have this in our CVs, probably, or at least I have. The transparency. I'm transparent. But what does that mean, that I'm transparent? Is basically to, by definition, is to have and provide detailed information about the testing activities, methodologies, outcomes, and any relevant issues. And there is a lot of things, other things which are related to the transparency. But let's dig a little bit deeper, because in theory, this is so beautiful. But what if we would go a little bit in the practical part? So, for example, here is a case study. There is a software version which was tested and released. The software is out in the wild at the end user, and somehow the testers, after all, find a critical, very important bug, which is unlikely to come up in production. What should the testers do? Shall they report or not? This issue could be found earlier, for example, much earlier. But the testers did not find it because stress, because of time pressure. We all know about time pressure, right? I have right now a time pressure here because it's counting down. So we all know about time pressure, right? Shall the testers report that problem or not? You all know the answer, and probably you always, yes, they should. Right? But would everybody report this? Because I don't think so. And this is the point where the transparency comes, that we have to report, we have to be aware of what not reporting the bugs would, and what are the consequences of not reporting that bug. Here is the second buzzword. The responsibility. I have in my CV that I'm responsible. We are all responsible for something. We are responsible for our job, what we do. We are responsible for the product, for the software we are testing. But are we conscious for what we're testing? Do we exactly know what responsibility means? Again, we can Google the definition. It's a wonderful definition. It says that it is an obligation and accountability of individuals and organizations involved in the testing process to ensure that testing activities are conducted in a responsible, ethical, and morally sound manner. What a wonderful sentence, right? I don't think that in practice this is how it works at all, again, because it's very, very easy to formulate things in that way, but to adapt, again. And this case study is one of my favorites between all of them, I have to say, because this happened with me. I was working on a project where the deadline was approaching and the pressure was very, very big. It was an application which had to be released. It was the first version of the application. And the entire upper-level management was waiting for this app for a long time. We were developing, and for more about half a year, no release. That was the first release, the version 1.0. And the pressure was quite big. The managers expected to be released as soon as possible, just to tell the clients that, look what we have. The speed to market, probably you know this term, is very racing nowadays. And the project manager insisted that the product shall go to the market. The number of bugs were huge. They were critical. they said that no problem, we fix the bugs, and then we released the product. And the question was, shall the tester go against the product manager or not? Or agree with the release? I have to tell you that I was the tester, and if you know me, probably you don't, that you know that I'm a little bit of rebel, that I used to go against and face the law and do not do what people expect from me to do. And I told the project manager that no, the application shall not go to the market. I have to tell you that this decision was the hardest, because if I would have told the project manager that, yeah, sure, we fix the bug and then we go live and will happen something, probably we will receive a bad feedback, but never mind, we will report some more bugs and fix some more things. And I feel very, very lucky in this situation, because the project manager was a great colleague of mine, and she listened to me. And I feel lucky because there are only a few cases when the testers are listened by the project management. Probably some of you encountered this situation, that you tell the project manager that, okay, this is not fine, and they are just neglecting your opinion. My opinion wasn't neglected, and I think that I'm very grateful for this. We postponed the release, we fixed the bugs, we found even more, we fixed the bugs. The release was postponed with 1 month or even more, even 2 months. But at the end, it was an application which was released on the Play Store and App Store. So we could see by the reviews the exact reaction of the customers. And it definitely worth it to postpone the release, because it had such a positive effect on the users that they received a quality-based application than an application full of bugs. So I think that this was a great decision. And yeah, I know that not in every case is this possible. Another one is the respect for privacy. We shall respect the privacy of the applications, of the software, of whatever data we are encountering in our software. So we shall protect the sensitive and personal information and sensitive data in our app. Probably the majority of you have access to the production data or some kind of production data, even if the data is obfuscated, or if you can't see the exact details, but some kind of metadata can be seen there. And that's not quite great. So here is the case study. So the testers have access to the production data. And what shall they do? Shall they profit or not? No, we shouldn't. Obviously, we shouldn't. But imagine that only one person goes against the law, and they might profit somehow from that situation, even if they are spying, even if they are, I do not know, some financial app and somehow transferring money to their private accounts. It can happen. And this is a very hard word to say, the professionalism, so the way we act. I would rather say, I cannot pronounce it correctly. So is the conduct, the attitude of how we act, the standard of the behavior of the testers and the testing organizers, what they should uphold when performing the software testing activities. But what does that mean, basically, in everyday's life? Let's see again the case study. Have you ever worked on a legacy project? Because I think that, yes, having a look at your faces, that, yeah, the legacy project is such an ugly word. Somebody once told me that do not tell about our project that it's legacy. It's running since 1990, but it's not legacy. Yeah, no, so obviously it's not legacy. So sometimes testers are working on a legacy project, and again, the project management is putting a big time pressure on the testers and the entire team. It always happens. And they want to force them to not to pay. If you are looking deeply, there is missing a not from the presentation. They are not to pay attention to the details and the testing standards for quicker workflows. Basically, this happened with me also. Shall the testers agree or not? Shall they go with the easier way or not? Obviously, everybody says, no, 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 oh, no. But if you are right there in that situation and you are under the pressure, it is very, very hard to have a great decision and say no. Saying yes is always easier than saying no. So I think that finally, yes, I said no, and there was a quite big trouble from that part. But finally, we finished the project in time. Objectivity. So no matter what the personal opinions, preferences are, but we shall be objective in every case, regardless of, I do not know, who is your friend, is the developer your favorite person from the company or not, or what will happen, you have to be objective about the work. For example, if there is a personal problem between the developers, and the developers tell you that, look, you should not report that bug. I heard about some companies which have some KPIs based on the number of bugs, and I definitely do not agree with this approach. The number of bugs are used to track the testers' testability and the developer skills, that how many bugs they produce. This is not the correct attitude, and I do not recommend to use any kind of KPIs such like that. So by fixing the bugs in the development ticket, the developers would avoid having a bug ticket, but this is not the correct attitude because this is not objective way to test. And finally, we arrive to the last section, that technical skills or soft skills, and which one you prefer, which is easier to learn. Just think about how much time does it take you to learn Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, whatever is your desired language. 1 week, 2 weeks, depends if you know any kind of language previously. But how much time would it take for us to be a much better person, to be a better communicator, to be team player, to learn respect for the others? Because that's a little bit more tough. Because that's not how it works. That last week I could not communicate with anybody, and tomorrow I'm having a speech here in the Hochstadt. That's not how it works usually. It does not mean that I'm a great communicator, by the way, so do not misunderstand me. So I would like to encourage you to think a little bit about those skills and do not focus so much on the tech skills. I'm not saying they are not important. They are very, very important. That's how our CV is buzzed up. But please focus on the soft skills as well, because they are important and they have the same importance, even if not higher ranking than we thought. That was my speech, and I would like to thank you for your attention and looking for the questions.
Let's give a huge applause to Imola. Can I give you a feedback?
Yes, please.
It was so good to listen, and I was like, she really likes her passion, because you sparkled on the stage. So thank you very much. So let's see the questions. Ta-da!
It's a little bit hot here, but yeah, I just saw the other people also.
We're fine. I think it's a bit different when you're standing on the stage. The temperature is also a bit different. So how do we ensure that the environment enables trust, so that testers have courage for transparency?
Yeah. Environment is always a quite important thing, I might say, obviously. And courage is one of the key things. So if the management and the company does not ensure an environment where the testers or any kind of employee can ask questions, then it's a problem. So, and then it goes to you personally, if you have the courage to go there and say, okay, I have to be transparent, I have to say no, I have to be a little bit more stand for myself. So it depends basically on you, how you react.
Are soft skills necessary for ethical testing?
Definitely. That's why the ethical testing and the soft skills were in correlation. You can say, for example, you have a colleague, a tester, let's say, who is a great, you can write very great unit test. I know that testers do not write usually unit tests or can do system testing very well, but is not transparent about their work, or cannot say their opinion objectively, always includes a little bit of opinion that, well, this bug can be done a little bit more better, and so definitely ethical testing and the soft skills are correlated. That's why I put those 5 in the presentation.
Does ethical testing clash with realistic testing? If yes, then what should be the trade-off?
A very great question. Yeah, they usually do. And do not think that I can, even after, I do not know, 13 years in this industry, be as ethical as I want always. However, the aim is to be a bit much better. Realistic testing is always something else. So realistic testing is always what we do every day and how we act. And it's very great. And well, it's very hard to achieve that point, to have those at least 5 buzzwords what I had there, and in a way which we would like to. And what should be the trade-off? I think that we shall stand up and believe in ourselves, and there is no trade-off.
Exciting. If releasing your app wouldn't be the first release, would you choose differently and not go against the PM? That the first reviews matter more?
I would even go against the PM even in that case. It does not matter if it was the first release. The fact that it was the first release just was an extra pressure on us because the management wanted to have the application as soon as possible out in the wild. And I would go against the poor PM. That PM, to be honest, has all of my respect, and she's one of the best project managers I have ever met. But the first reviews always matter more, because if you see an application reviewed by 100 people and it's rated to 2.5, for example, vs. again 100 people rated to 4 or 5, then it's a big difference between how you act. Obviously, unfortunately, all of us have biases when we see the reviews.
I think we have time for the last question. It might be good to be specific and narrow this down to QA, but shouldn't this be part of general company ethics?
They should be part, I definitely think of, and I hope that deep in my soul that all of you work at companies which have those kind of standards. I know that it's not quite possible in every way and every day and at every company, but you shall try, even yourself, to be the one who tries to change. I would like to encourage you to change the company policy if it's not.